Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I've been on a rant patrol, y'all. Like, I just got done talking about my thought process on the Civil War trailer in conjunction with Spider-Man. I thought it was a pretty interesting debate / open discussion, which this is going to be an open discussion. But this is going to be on one of my favorite TV shows still, in spite of some recent events and my own personal thought process on things, the Vampire Diaries. Am I caught up on the originals? I'm almost caught up. I don't know if I'm going to wait until maybe like the next season to actually start reviewing the originals. I would love to do that because I actually, at this point, almost love originals more than Vampire Diaries. Don't get upset. I'm going to give you my reasonings why and what this title is going to be, which the title is going to be The Vampire Diaries, the relationships of Season 7, or the dynamics of the relationships within Season 7. The thing that I loved about the Vampire Diaries, and I keep on hearing them say they want to go back to their roots, you know, of the inception of Vampire Diaries, where you got like one brother that's evil, one brother that's sane and good, but yet technically is even more worse when, you know, on a bloodlust than his other brother. So it's like two vampires that engulf themselves into this world of Mystic Falls that has a lot of background history, but at the present time is okay, you know, but then you find out they're not okay, and they're already caught up into serious tsunami mess, you know. And Elena Gilbert is at the centerfold of these two boys and their affections, their love, and then you've got like the lovable witch that is Bonnie, played by Cat Grant. You got the really sarcastic and unknowingly weird and just, I don't know, cliquish Candace King's character of Caroline, and then you got like the lowly person like Mad and Tyler that are just interweaving into the world as humans, but then you find out they have their own things going on, and it's like the symmetry, it lines up because of the history, essentially. Like the point where they go from that point and then they move forward, the character development is awesome because it leads to a point where after Elena dies, technically, or she's no longer on the show, and she can't be up there anymore, going on into Season 7, and the sacrifice that Damon made to basically live up to the expectation that Elena's left for his legacy of saving Bonnie versus not saving her, you know, and allowing Elena to live, stopping Kai, even like the relationship of like Stefan and Caroline, and just how like they didn't know where they were standing at certain points. Going in Season 7, the first episode, that laid an amazing foundation of growth. Like, I was like, I know they kept on saying that they wanted to go back, but it was like, these relationships in and of themselves are what make up the history of the show. It's not the fact of, yeah, Elena does make Damon better. She did have Stefan to the grips of, like, losing himself and coming back on his own just from the influence of this girl. Yeah, she plays a big part in everybody in this world, but these people are not like merged together because of her. Like, they're a byproduct of the influence that she had on them. So it's like, how do they live without her, essentially? And that's the thing about the 7th season, and that's the thing that I don't like necessarily about the 7th season, is that they're trying to make it go back and have all these kind of weird interactions of things that are happening, and it's messing up, to me, what could be the two amazing female leads, and not these heretics, or not even like Stefan and Damon's mom, which is I'm talking about is Caroline and Bonnie. Caroline in and of herself, like her relationship with Stefan, it's been long overdue. Like, from the first time that Stefan showed her how to try to survive, Caroline became one of the best vampires, in my opinion, because she was able to control her bloodlust. Nobody was able to even do that. You know what I'm saying? And then it got to the point in the 6th season, like, they started reforging certain things inside of themselves. It's like, okay, this is spawning from a friendship into something real. And even with Bonnie, like Bonnie in the first season, she was borderline about to let Damon die. She was going to let him burn to death. But yet, later on in the 6th season, like what the hell they went through, she burnt somebody else over trying to kill Damon. And that's out of love. That's out of sincerity. That's out of an actual natural progression of relationship. From a friendship to something more. And it's like with Elena not here, it's like I think that it was better that neither one of the guys, neither one of the brothers got her. That she was something that was unattainable in the sense of like it would always be that kind of division. Yeah, I think Damon definitely deserves somebody like her because he's gotten to the point that he's earned it, you know. But I think the camera might cut out, so I might have to recrop this. I apologize. But from the simple standpoint that their relationships have been the history and weight of this show. If you really look back and see how far Caroline and Stefan have gone, like he's been with her through her bad relationship. She's been with him in motivational stints as a friend and everything else. And even with Damon, like Damon's done some terrible things, but there's never been a point that Bonnie hasn't helped him. Either, yeah, she might get threatened, but there's a lot of times she doesn't have to even do it. Like if she sees like him suffering, she will be there in a heartbeat. And it's like for this season, the 7th season, like I understand that that Candace King is pregnant. I understand that, okay? And you want to fit that in and make that work in conjunction with the show. But now they're pushing her on a lark. And even if you're looking in the 3 years forward, like I'm like, so everything that led up to this point, led up to Alark and Caroline, and what everything led up to this point led up to Enzo and Bonnie. Like, come on, dude. Like I don't understand it. I don't know, if you can leave me in the comment section below, let me understand it better. But for me, looking at it, which I have every single season, I've seen the progression of these real relationships, which are real friendships, which came from people that did not like each other, that liked each other for the wrong reasons initially, and then came to where they are now, that they can't live without each other. But yet, in the 7th season, that's not what I'm seeing. Like, I'm seeing, like, Caroline doing some amazing things to help and be selfless towards Stefan, but it's like, now, it's like they're pushing her towards a lark because out of responsibility, out of prowess, that these are not Stefan's children, those are your larks, and that's the dad, you know, and that's where I feel like her character is going. And I think that she might end up leaving Mrs. Falls for him over Stefan. I don't know if it's gonna be a romantic thing, but I think that's where it's gonna go. And then when I think about Damon, like, I mean, the man has lost the love of his life. Yeah, okay, make him go and kill people, make him go and lose himself, but how does he stay grounded? It can't just be his brother. Yeah, I think his brother is a good motivator, but his brother got his own thing. Even like when we saw the stuff that happened with them being stuck in that world, it took more than just his brother's influence to bring him back. You know what I'm saying? Like literally people, that it took more. And I feel that the filter could be Bonnie. Like regardless if they have a romantic thing going on, they're not even there for each other. Like she's with the heretic one day, she's with Matt one day, she's with Enzo another day, flirting with him, flirting with all these other kind of guys. And it's like all these things that are losing themselves as far as the substance of what the show started with, which is the building of relationship and character development. Now they're just going and weaving in the water. And instead of like, okay, what would happen if these people dare to relate to each other like on the real terms? Regardless of like the mark that Stefan's getting, regardless of them going through hell and back, like what would really happen if they tried to make a run for this? Could they last? Could Bonnie and Damon even coexist with the understanding of him even waiting for the love of his life for about 70 to 80 years until Bonnie dies? So it's like, regardless if it's worth it or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really worth it, him having companionship for 60 years with Bonnie, and then when Elena wakes up, him, you know, being with her finally. It's like, to me, that's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be great for him to just stay single, not be with anybody. But it's like, if I had to think of somebody for him to be with, I just can't see for him to be with anybody. Period. And I don't think it needs to be a repeat of the Catherine situation. If anything that would learn anything from the first season is that he was more self-destructive from him trying to stay with something that, you know, like, and yeah, it's unhealthy kind of like obsession with Catherine that he had. But regardless, when he is alone and he's just kind of sitting there waiting and pondering, he do anything and everything to get back with that person. And like this is shown the last episode because hinted upon what he just did with Elena. And it's like the show has to learn from the mistakes of the characters that they have developed. Damon, in and of himself, does better when he's with somebody, when he's moved on, when he's fleshed out. And like I think that even if he was in a relationship, even if he was trying to be in companionship with Bonnie, I think that's a no-brainer. Like, who else is he gonna be with? Like, in all honesty, like, who is he really gonna be with? And I mean, I'm not saying he has to have somebody to complete him, because he could wait for this love of his life and stay in the tomb. But that's boring, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it would be so much more. And I think even from Elena's standpoint, if she went and found out that Damon was with, you know, Bonnie and helped her through life and completing her life, like regardless if it was with him or not, that he stuck with it, and they ended up having a relationship and relearning things all over again, I think there'd be so much more. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, like, Elena is human, so it's like she's not a vampire, so she's only gonna have one life with him. And I don't know if he can be able to drink her blood and become human or not. I really don't know. But either way, that they need to be there for each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not happening. It's like, I don't know what they're doing with Kat Grant's character. I can see why she's all over the place. I think she's about to play Jada Pinkett in a Tupac Shakur movie. She's pursuing her music career, but it's like, I feel like they're wasting her character, man. It's like, I'm not necessarily waiting for the series to end, but because I looked at episodes, like that one episode where Damon was stuck within the Ruby, like that was such an amazingly gripping film of episode. Like it felt like a film. Even with Paul Wesley, when it comes to like Candace King, like I feel like their relationship was so much better fleshed out and healthier than Lana's, and it's like that's about to go south real quick. Given what we see 3 years later. Now, it might be that this whole 3 years later kick, it flushes out and everything reboots and this is all a dream or something like that, but it's like, I don't know, man. I wish that they hadn't even shown me the 3 years later, because it's like, the way that the characters end up or go and the way that they're going, it just doesn't make sense from where they've gone through. Like, from a relationship standpoint, like, these are the relationships that were designed. Even with Enzo, with Stefan and Damon's mom, it would have made more sense for Enzo to end up with her. Like, why kill Lily? Like, I understand it from a story standpoint, but it was like they didn't allow Enzo to even show grief or understanding with that, and he's supposed to just end up with, you know, Bonnie later. I just don't get it, dude. Like, I mean, you can't just bring a random character, regardless of like how good a character this heretic is, that had love for Stefan, has history with Stefan, and that's just how he's gonna end up with it. And I mean, that does happen in real life. But if you're gonna take a show this far, you know what I'm saying, like, let the evolution of the characters that are around it push the envelope. Like, I think classic example would be Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill. Dawson's Creek, the Pacey and Dawson and Joey thing, I mean, that kind of got so melodramatic and it was unnecessary. But the relationships that outside of that, with Jen and with Jack and stuff like that, like, those were, you know, real building relationships. Even like, I think One Tree Hill with oh my gosh, Haley and Nathan. Like, that stood the test of time, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what they kind of went through, it was an evolutionary process to get them to be adults, really. And even with, I think, Peyton and with Lucas, like, I really saw their progression. Like, he had different people that wove into his life, but there are only those certain kind of people that are there for a season, and then there are people that are there for your lifetime, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't like the way the relationships are kind of going. And I might be nitpicking because I'm a shipper of too many things. I probably should just forget about the Bamon thing, forget about the Steroline, and just, like, let the show be itself and be entertained. But it's like, when you put so much investment years and watching progression of how well things are going below the scenes. Like when you see that one moment when Stefan and Caroline are in the truck and just talking, she looks at him in his eyes, she's like, I really have feelings for this man. Or like when you see like Bonnie jump into Damon's arms, regardless of relationship or not, like she loves this man and they got themselves through it and they're happy, you know what I'm saying? Just from a relationship, friendship thing, like there's a bond there from like an actor standpoint on the chemistry level, as well as from just the characters. There's so much weight that can build up and hold on the actual story, but they're not going anywhere. I don't know what Julie or Laura is doing, but I don't know. I just don't like the way the relationships are going with the Vampire Diaries, like in this 7th season, and maybe in this infancy at this point. But either way, let me know in the comment section below what y'all thought. I just want to go ahead and give my spill. I'm about to go look at some Supergirl because I got to catch up. I need to redo my review for Ninja Turtles because I got messed up and lost and corrupted. But thanks everybody for watching. This is SCL 0320 representing JVS. We ain't gonna stop. Peace, y'all.